Hey, what's up guys? Combat Critic here. In this video, I want to give my pick for this upcoming fight between Nicolas Dalby and Muslim Salikhov. So let's get started. If we look at the records of these two guys, starting with Nicolas, he has 28 fights and he's won 21, lost 4. He has 1 draw and 2 no contest on his resume. Now let's talk about his wins. So his 21 wins have mostly been via decision. So almost half of all his wins have come via decision. 6 have come via knockout and 4 via submission. If we talk about his 4 losses, all 4 of those have come via decision. So this man has never been finished in his pro career. Now let's talk about Muslim Salikhov. He has 22 fights and he's won 19, lost 3. If we talk about his 19 wins, 13 wins via knockout. So unlike Nicholas, he is a knockout guy, and more than half of all his wins are by knockout, and he's won just twice via submission and 4 times via decision. If we talk about his 3 losses, he's been knocked out once and submitted twice. He's never lost a decision. Now let's talk about the physical and career statistics of these two guys. Starting with the height, it is 5 feet 11 for Nicholas and also 5 feet 11 for Salikhov. Weight, so this fight is welterweight unless somebody misses weight. Reach is 74 inches for Nicolas Dalby and it is 70 inches for Salikhov. So a 4-inch reach advantage will favor Nicolas. If we talk about the stance, it is orthodox for both these guys. And if we talk about the age, so both are the same age almost. I don't think age will play a factor. Now let's talk about the career stats. Starting with the striking numbers. First up, we have the strikes landed per minute. This is how many significant strikes you land per minute on your opponent on average. This is 3.74 for Nicholas and 3.3 for Muslim. So a slight advantage goes to Nicholas. He is landing a little bit more strikes on his opponents. Now let's take a look at the striking accuracy. So striking accuracy is 41% for Nicholas and it is 49% for Muslim. So Salikhov has an advantage here, even though he's not landing a lot more strikes, he is more accurate with his strikes. Now let's talk about the next thing, which is the strikes absorbed per minute. So this is the average number of strikes that you absorb from your opponent per minute on average. This is 3.35 for Nicholas and it is 2.43 for Salikhov. So in this case, you want this number to be as low as possible because you are getting hit lesser. So here the advantage goes to Salikhov again. If we talk about the striking defense, it is 53% for Nicolas Dalby and it is 67% for Salikhov. So again, he is more defensive. He will have an advantage here. Now let's talk about the wrestling, grappling and BJJ statistics. Starting with the takedown average, it is 1.09 for Nicholas and 1.2 for Salikhov. So Salikhov will have a slight advantage here as well. Takedown accuracy is 30% for Nicholas and 35% for Salikhov. So again, pretty close, but a slight advantage goes to Salikhov. Takedown defense 65% for Nicholas and 77% for Salikhov. So again, Salikhov has an advantage here as well. Now, if we talk about the submission average, it's 0.1 for Nicholas and it is 0 for Muslim Salikhov. Salikhov has never attempted a submission in the UFC so far. So a slight advantage goes to Nicholas in the submission department. Overall, I believe that looking at the stats, the advantage favors Salikhov clearly, except maybe in the strikes landed department and very slightly in the submission department. Now let's look at the significant strikes by position. So 65% of all the strikes that Nicholas lands are in the standing position, 26% in the clinch and 9% on the ground. And if we talk about Salikhov, so 80% of all his strikes are in the standing, so he likes to keep it standing. 6%, just 6% in the clinch and 14% on the ground. If you look at the significant strikes by target, so 61% of all the strikes that Dalby throws are to the head, 22% to the body and 17% to the leg. Whereas if we talk about Salikhov, 57% to the head, 27% to the body. So he likes to go to the body more often than Dalby, and 16% to the leg. Now let's look at the previous performances of these two guys, starting with Nicolas. So in his last fights, he beat Warlley Alves via split decision. This fight happened in January of this year, and it was a 3-round fight. Before that, he beat Claudio Silva again via decision. This was a unanimous decision, and this fight happened in July of last year. It was again a 3-round fight. And before that, he lost to Tim Means via unanimous decision, and this fight happened in June of 2021. So he's really been fighting once a year in the last couple of years, and this was again a 3-round fight. Before that, he beat Daniel Rodriguez via unanimous decision. Good win on his record. This fight happened in November of 2020, and before that he had an NC against Jesse Ronson, and before that he beat Alex Oliveira. So he has good decent wins on his record. He's beaten good level guys in the UFC, and this was his UFC debut, which happened in 2019, and this was again a 3-round fight. So he's not been the most active recently. He's on average fighting around once a year. And now let's look at Salikhov. So Salikhov in his last fight beat Andre Fialho via TKO, spinning wheel kick and punches. This came in the 3rd round, and this fight took place in November of last year. So he is taking a good 6-7 months break and coming back to fight. Before that, he got TKO'd by Li Jingliang in July of last year, and this happened in the 2nd round. And before that, he beat Francisco Trinaldo by unanimous decision, and Zaleski dos Santos via split decision, Loriana Staropoli again unanimous decision, Nordin Taleb by a knockout in the 1st round, and Ricky Rennie again knockout, lost to Alex Garcia via submission, and before that he beat Melvin Gillard via knockout. So this man is knocking out people. He's also won some decisions. He's been TKO'd by Li Jingliang. However, that I don't think that Nicolas will be able to knock out Salikhov, because we have seen that most of his wins have come via decisions. If we look at his record in the UFC, he's won no fight via knockout or sub. All his wins are via decision. So he is a decision machine. I don't think he will be able to finish Salikhov, whereas Salikhov has a lot of knockouts in the UFC. Just in his last fight, he finished Andre Fialho, and before that he's also knocked out other guys. So I believe he has the power, and he has the ways to end this. He has more ways to win this fight. For these reasons, if you ask me for a pick, I'll have to go with Muslim Salikhov. I think he will be a huge favorite for this fight. He should win this fight. We've seen the statistics, and Salikhov is ahead in almost all of them. The ones that he's not ahead, it's pretty close. For these reasons, I'm picking Salikhov to win this fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video.